Hey, and welcome back to another video from my Strange Phones playlist, the playlist of videos where we take a look at weird or strange phone designs or features, and we discuss the engineering details as to why said features or designs were chosen and also how they affect the user on a day-to-day basis. And what we have here today is the extremely unique Nokia 6800 from 2003. Now, I don't have to say much, you just saw what happened there. I moved the keyboard over the display like this to form a full QWERTY keyboard in a landscape fashion. And this is easily one of Nokia's most interesting devices. This device is also quite the opposite to what you'd expect from a Nokia device, as this thing is extremely fragile. Nokias are known for being tanks. This thing is somewhat the opposite because this part can easily break off. As you can see, it is a moving component held in place by two screws there. And this is an unusual phone, not only because it looks weird, because it's not as strong as other Nokia phones. It's not built like a tank. And today we'll be going into all the details as to why the engineers and the designers chose this oddball design and how it affects the user on a day-to-day basis. Also, before we jump right into this video, don't forget to smash that like button down below, as it helps this video get on YouTube's algorithm. And also don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and ring that bell notification button so you're notified whenever I upload a new video. Also, don't forget to leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about the Nokia 6800. Do you own one? Do you have one in your collection? Do you plan to get one in the future? Did you own one at some point? Or if you have any questions regarding the phone, leave a question down below. I can answer your question or we can start a discussion. My social media is also linked down in the description below, which includes Instagram, Discord, and Twitter. And now let's jump right into this video. Now, just real quickly, I want to point out that there was an article written about my channel on Nokiamob.net, a very, very well put together and interesting article that basically covers all the main points of my channel in a very good read. It was written by an author called Kerwin, so big thumbs up to Kerwin for putting together such a nice article. He contacted me through Instagram, and over the course of a few days, he asked me various questions regarding how I run my channel, what are my most favorite phones of my collection, the prototypes, the oddball designs just like this one, and just much more, and put together a really, really good article. You should definitely go ahead and check that article out. It will be linked down in the description below. It's on Nokiamob.net and it's linked down in the description below. They also have some other really good articles all related to Nokia products, past and present as well. And it's a very, very good website if you want to get information on other Nokia products as well. Not only phones, they have tablets and headphones and all that stuff as well. It's a very well put together site. And if you really want to have a good read about my channel, definitely check out that article. It's a very, very good read. So big thumbs up to Nokiamob.net and a big shout out to Kerwin. Now, just to point out, if you haven't already seen the full retro style review / using the Nokia 6800 in 2022 video, it is over here up in this card above, and I'll link it down in the description below as well. I go into detail in about a half an hour video actually, all the full details regarding this phone, the software, the hardware, the interface, the weird functionality, all that stuff. I cover it in detail in that video. So if you haven't already seen it, go ahead and check it out later after this video, or if you want to go ahead and watch it right now. But in this video, we'll be just covering the engineering aspect of this strange design and how it affected the user. Also, we'll be jumping into some history first regarding this phone, and if you don't want to listen to the history portion, you can jump to any section you want using the segmented slider of this video. So the slider is segmented, so go ahead and jump ahead if you don't want to listen to the history portion. So the 6800 was announced in 2002 and launched in 2003, and it's a phone that didn't sell really too well because it's obvious that people were concerned about durability issues in this strange design. Now, don't get me wrong, this half of the phone is really durable and can take a beating or two, but this half, not so much. It can easily break very, very easily. As you can see, there's a crack on this one already, which I do have to fix before it gets worse. And we have another one here, my older unit. This part has completely come off and it's held together by tape. As you can see, the mechanism here works. Let me hold the tape here. As you can see, it's in landscape now because it thinks the keyboard's on the other side, but when you bring it back, as you can see, there's a magnet. You don't really have to bring it close even. I initially thought in the other video, in the retro style review video, I thought that there was no magnet, but it turns out there is a magnet indeed, because I thought when it locks in place, the pins actually make contact and that's how the system works. But in reality, as you can see, the pins aren't touching. It is actually a magnet that recognizes that this thing has come close and it switches from landscape to portrait mode like that. But as you can see, it has broken off and this phone wasn't really used that well by the previous owner. I have the other parts in a bag somewhere and I have to restore this phone in the future. So definitely stay tuned for that. Can I get it locked here? Come on. No, I'll just leave it to lock by itself. Okay, so back to the history. So yeah, people probably didn't want to buy this phone considering it was not that strong in terms of physical build, and regardless, it was still a very feature-packed phone at the time. The starting with the 6810, actually its successor, because this is a part of the 6800 series, the 6810, the 6820 and the 6822. Those phones starting with the 6810 had actually a lot of other features such as Bluetooth, Edge, Blackberry email as well, which was quite interesting, and wireless village as well. And these were all general messaging and email features, because this thing has GPRS, as you can see. Where is that? There we go, connectivity and services. So this thing has a basic browser and GPRS features as well. And with the further models down the line, 6810 and onwards, it got BlackBerry messaging support and a few other things as well. And it was a strange phone at the time, and it's even more stranger today considering we are very used to flat designs, just like the Nokia 9 Pure View, just flat, straight up designs, nothing, no fancy features hanging off the edge there. So it has gotten stranger over time. The 6800 also runs the Nokia Series 40 platform. It's not Symbian, but it is a Nokia developed platform called Series 40, and it's also another phone, another good example of a phone that got its successor in the form of a completely different series, the Nokia E70. This one over here is actually the successor to the 6800 series, even though it's from the E series. So that's quite interesting to see, and it's a much more sturdier built phone with metal components and stuff like that. So that's also interesting to see, a successor from a completely different lineup. So if you want to see all the details regarding this phone up to the dot, you'll have to go and watch the full retro style review video. However, now let us jump to the engineering portion of the 6800 and how it affected the user. So why did this thing have such a strange design? Now, is it because Nokia just had too much money and were like, you know what, let's release a really weird phone and see if anyone buys it? Now, that's not entirely a wrong statement there, because as wacky as it sounds, Nokia has done it in the past, and it's sitting right over there. That's the 3650, which I've covered extensively on my channel. You can go ahead, there's a couple of videos on this thing in much detail, and this phone is a good example of Nokia experimenting with designs that they probably knew are not really going to take off, but they still really did it. As you can see, there's a rotary style keypad. A lot of people don't like this phone because they think it looks strange and ugly, but I personally like this thing. And it's a phone that proves that Nokia had a lot of money and they're like, you know what, let's just experiment with wacky designs. And this very well could be the case with the 6800. However, it also could be the case that they were thinking, you know what, we want to put a full-size QWERTY keyboard in a small form factor without having it look weird. Now, here's a good example of that. It's the 3300B. Now, it is a full-size QWERTY keyboard, as you can see, but it's a weird form factor. It looks like a bean. It looks like a taco, a bean, whatever you want to call it. And a lot of people probably were put off by this. Now, sure, there's always a group of people that were like, yeah, that looks nice, let's buy that thing. And but the majority of the people would have been, no, that looks very weird. Okay, it has a full QWERTY keyboard, which is nice, but still no. So they wanted to probably make a phone that actually had a full QWERTY keyboard, but was limited at the time by the size of keys and the technology at the time, to be able to put a full-size keyboard in a standard phone form factor like this without having it to look like that. Now later on, of course, they managed to put full QWERTY keyboards in smaller form factors, as you can see with the E71, that eventually when the technology came. But this is much older than the E71. This is from 2003, so it was probably not possible at the time to fit a full-size keyboard in this form factor instead of having it become like that big. There were phones with full-size keyboards in this form factor, but they were wide. They were probably like those HP and Palm devices. They were huge. So that was the trade-off. You either have a huge phone that was hard to hold, or you have a slim one and you find another way to shove a full keyboard there because you were limited by the technology at the time. So what was Nokia's decision? Put it right under the standard keyboard and make it flip out like that. Honestly, a very unique and ingenious design. Whoever designed this phone is an absolute genius. You get the full best of both worlds. You get the standard phone. When you hold it like this, honestly, if you cover the hinge mechanism, it kind of looks like just your ordinary phone. As you can see, it looks pretty normal, right? But then you have your option to type like a normal phone with one hand, but when you want to send emails or write long text, voila, you have your full option. Now this is very good engineering from Nokia. Sure, it's fragile. It's very fragile, like the one sitting over here in 2 pieces, but it's smart. It's very smart. And honestly, whoever designed this phone, big thumbs up to that guy. The design is just amazing, and putting a small magnet there as well, so it detects that the thing has come back down. That's also very ingenious. And yeah, that's why I think this phone actually has this design. They wanted the full best of both worlds: quick typing with one hand and holding in one hand, for the phone to be a normal form factor, not look like that, but also give the full option of a full QWERTY keyboard to the user when folding out like that, because they were limited by the technology at the time, not being able to put a full-size keyboard in a form factor like this instead of making the phone too big. So a very smart design choice by Nokia there, and that's why most likely this phone was released in this form factor. So yeah, that's my reasoning, the engineering aspect of the Nokia 6800, and I'm pretty sure those who did buy this phone were very pleased with it. I'm pretty sure the durability was a problem over time, but there were no major complaints as far as I can find on the internet regarding this thing's durability. So it probably did work for the amount of years the user wanted it to. It would have probably easily broken if you dropped it in this position, I can imagine, but it probably did its job well for the time, as I could not find any bad reviews for this phone on the internet. But yeah, that was just a quick engineering analysis and user analysis of the Nokia 6800 from 2003, a very unique phone with this fold-out keyboard design. Don't forget to check out the full retro style video of this phone, and also don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for the restoration of this one in this bad condition. We'll get to repair this phone and put it back to its former glory, so definitely stay tuned for that. I hope you enjoyed this video as usual, and if you honestly did, don't forget to smash that like button down below, as it helps this video get on YouTube's algorithm. And also don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and ring that bell notification button so you're notified whenever I upload a new video. Also don't forget to leave a comment or a question down below, and I can answer your question, or we can start a discussion. My social media is linked down in the description below, which includes Instagram, Discord and Twitter. Thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in my next video.